Welcome back to the Life with the Browns. Robyn Brown may have just made the most revealing move of her entire sister wives' career, and she did it without saying a single word. While Kody Brown stumbles through what fans are calling his painfully awkward apology tour, awkwardly reaching out to estranged children and former wives like a man who genuinely cannot understand how his world collapsed, his so-called devoted fourth wife has vanished into silence. No public support. No statements of encouragement. Not even a carefully worded hint that she's standing behind him. And that silence is deafening. This is the same woman who spent years crying on camera, insisting she wanted nothing more than family unity. The same woman who told viewers, over and over, that her greatest fear was being the only wife left. Yet now, at the exact moment Kody is finally attempting to acknowledge the damage he caused, Robyn has completely lost her voice. The irony here is almost cruel. Let's be brutally honest. This is not accidental. This is not Robyn giving Kody space. According to sources close to the situation, her silence is calculated, and it exposes the control dynamics fans have suspected for more than a decade. One insider put it plainly: Robyn has always positioned herself as the peacemaker while quietly ensuring the pieces never truly come back together. And now, as Kody tries, however clumsily, to repair the catastrophic damage to his relationships with his children and former wives, Robyn is nowhere to be found. She isn't helping. She isn't encouraging. She isn't advocating for healing. She's watching from the sidelines of her million-dollar Flagstaff home while her husband flounders publicly. Think about what that really means. This is the same woman who sobbed about the family falling apart. The same woman who insisted she never wanted to be the last wife standing. The same woman who claimed her dream was unity. Sister wives together, children bonded. One big family against the world. And yet here we are. For wives reduced to one. 18 children scattered across emotional fault lines that may never fully heal. And when Kody finally, after years of denial and deflection, starts admitting he may have made devastating mistakes, Robyn is conspicuously absent. Those close to the couple say Robyn doesn't see Kody's apology tour as a healing opportunity. She sees it as a threat. And let me translate that for you. If Kody successfully reconciles with Christine, Janelle, Mary, and his estranged children, Robyn's position as the sole recipient of his time, attention, and resources suddenly becomes unstable. The isolation she has allegedly cultivated around him for years would begin to crack. And for someone who has benefited enormously from that isolation, the idea of Kody rebuilding those bridges must be terrifying. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Every major decision that pushed the other wives away somehow worked in Robyn's favor. Every holiday that imploded. Every COVID rule that fractured the family. Every financial choice that left other wives struggling while Robyn lived comfortably. All of it funneled toward this exact outcome. And now, the woman Kody sacrificed everything for appears to be the gatekeeper of whether he's even allowed to make amends. But Robyn's distance from this apology saga reveals something far darker about what's been happening in this family for years. To understand why her silence is so damning, we need to look at what Kody's apology tour actually involves. Over the past several months, Kody Brown has made increasingly public attempts to reconnect with the children and ex-wives he alienated. This is not the Kody viewers watched for years, the man who doubled down on every mistake and blamed everyone else. Something has shifted. Whether it's genuine remorse, mounting financial pressure from declining TLC interest, or simply the loneliness of finally facing consequences, Kody has started acknowledging that he wasn't the father or husband he should have been. He's reached out to adult children like Gwen, Paydon, and others who have been openly critical of him. And through all of this, Robyn has said nothing. No supportive social media posts. No interviews expressing hope. No words about healing. Fans across every platform have noticed. One commenter on a major Sister Wives forum summed up what many are thinking. Why is the woman who cried about family unity for 12 seasons suddenly silent when unity might actually be possible? The contrast is staggering. Robyn built her entire on-screen identity around being the emotional heart of the family. The tears, the speeches, the constant insistence that connection mattered above all else. And for years, viewers believed her. Many defended her, arguing she was blamed unfairly for problems that existed before she arrived. But that defense collapses when she refuses to support the reconciliation she claimed to. Janelle stepped back and rebuilt her life on her own terms. Mary finally acknowledged what everyone could already see, that the marriage was over in everything but name. What remains now is Kody and Robyn, alone in their Flagstaff mansion, surrounded by the wreckage of a family empire that once captivated millions of viewers. And as the cameras have chronicled this slow-motion collapse, one undeniable pattern has emerged. Every turning point, every fracture, every wife who walked away. Somehow, every single outcome left Robyn more firmly positioned as the sole beneficiary of Kody's time, attention, and loyalty. What insiders are now revealing about Robyn's behind-the-scenes influence completely changes how every past episode looks in hindsight. This was never random. This was never chaos. And it certainly wasn't coincidence. This is not the first time Robyn quietly steered Kody away from the rest of his family, and the pattern is far too consistent to ignore. Think back to the move from Las Vegas to Flagstaff. At the time, it was framed as another impulsive Kody idea. A sudden obsession. A new beginning. But look closer. The other wives were settled in Vegas. They had homes, stability, routines. The children were thriving in their schools and communities. Life, for once, was functioning. And then Kody uprooted everyone. Christine has since spoken openly about how the Flagstaff move destroyed whatever remained of her marriage. She went from having sister wives nearby, real support, real community, to complete isolation in a new state where Kody rarely showed up. Janelle experienced the same displacement. The promised family closeness never materialized. The dream of a shared compound became an empty talking point. Except for one person, Robyn. While the other wives scrambled for rentals and temporary housing, Robyn ended up in a sprawling million-dollar home. Stability for one, chaos for the rest. One former insider described the dynamic bluntly. Robyn would present ideas to Kody as his thoughts, and he never realized he was being managed. Then came COVID, and with it, the most devastating example of this control pattern. Viewers watched in disbelief as Kody rolled out rigid protocols so extreme that they effectively prevented him from seeing his other wives and children. Yet somehow, he remained fully present and comfortable in Robyn's household. The rules were framed as about safety, but their impact was isolation, total isolation from everyone except Robyn and her kids. And according to multiple family members, those rules didn't come from Kody. They came from Robyn. She positioned them as necessary, responsible, protective. But the result was the complete severing of already fragile relationships with Christine, Janelle, and their children. Holidays told the same story. Year after year, moments that should have united the family turned into battlegrounds. Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays. Somehow, Robyn's household always came first. Scheduling conflicts mysteriously appeared. Plans collapsed, and the other wives' children were left feeling excluded and forgotten. Sources say Robyn would engineer situations where Kody couldn't realistically split time, then express tearful confusion about why everyone was upset. The manipulation was subtle, wrapped in emotion, disguised as sensitivity. It took years for the other wives to recognize what was really happening. What makes this dynamic so insidious is the way Robyn frames it. She isn't keeping Kody from his family, she's protecting him. She isn't isolating him, she's creating a safe space. She isn't manipulating, she's just being a good wife. That reframing allows her to remain the victim while holding enormous power over the family's direction. And Kody, through blindness, ego, or willful ignorance, enabled it for over a decade. But now, former family members are finally speaking openly about what they witnessed. And their words are devastating. Christine has been especially clear. Since leaving Kody, she has described a pattern of systematic exclusion that she directly attributes to Robyn's influence. She has talked about feeling like a second-class wife long before she officially left, watching Kody's affection and attention funnel almost exclusively toward Robyn while she was left begging for the bare minimum. In one particularly damning account, Christine revealed how she would ask Kody for time, for connection, for basic marital effort, only to be told that he was busy or that Robyn needed him more. She spoke about the pain of watching her children be treated differently than Robyn's children, about financial inequities that left Robyn living in comfort while she struggled, about years of emotional abandonment that slowly broke her down. And Christine has been clear. She does not blame Kody alone. She believes his behavior was shaped, encouraged, by someone who benefited from her exclusion. Janelle's experience backs this up. Typically more reserved, Janelle has still acknowledged that everything changed after Robyn entered the family. She noticed Kody's priorities shift. Decisions that should have been made collectively were suddenly made by Kody and Robyn, and merely announced to the others afterward. One source close to Janelle summed it up perfectly. She eventually realized she wasn't in a marriage anymore. She was in a competition she never agreed to enter and was never going to win. Both women point to the same turning points. The Flagstaff move pushed through, without genuine consensus. Property purchases that favored Robyn while the others rented and waited. Promises made to the group that somehow only materialized for one household. And now, as Kody attempts his public redemption arc, the woman who once cried endlessly about family unity is silent. Not because she wants peace, but because peace would mean losing control. And that may be the one thing Robyn Brown has never been willing to give up. The COVID rules that tore this family apart didn't just divide households, they divided loyalty. The lines were drawn with surgical precision. Robyn's household on one side, everyone else on the other. The same can be said for the financial arrangements, where TLC money appeared to flow disproportionately toward Robyn's family needs while the others tightened their belts. Any one of these incidents, standing alone, might be brushed off as circumstance or coincidence. But taken together, they form a pattern so consistent it becomes impossible to ignore. What makes Christine and Janelle's revelations so powerful is who they are. These are not bitter ex-wives lashing out. These are women who spent decades trying to make plural marriage work. Women who believed in the family structure, defended Robyn publicly for years, and swallowed their doubts for the sake of unity. Their credibility comes from how long they stayed silent. When women with that much emotional investment finally speak, it's not for attention. It's because the truth has become too heavy to carry alone. And now, even Mary, the wife who stayed loyal the longest and endured the coldest dismissal, is confirming the same pattern. The woman who sacrificed the most finally reached her limit. Mary Brown's journey from Robyn's fiercest defender to complete emotional disconnection tells you everything you need to know about the real power dynamics in this family. For years, Mary was Robyn's shield. She facilitated Robyn's entrance into the family. She championed her acceptance. She even gave up her legal marriage to Kody so he could legally marry Robyn and adopt her children, an act of loyalty that fundamentally changed Mary's position forever. And how is that loyalty repaid? With isolation, with neglect, with a marriage that existed in name only. Insiders say Mary's breaking point came when she finally saw the full picture, how her loyalty had been used while she was quietly kept on the outside. One source close to Mary revealed that she came to understand Robyn had allegedly been telling Kody for years that Mary was manipulative and untrustworthy, poisoning the well of their relationship while smiling to Mary's face. Even the infamous catfishing scandal, something Mary has openly taken responsibility for, became a weapon. Sources claim Robyn repeatedly used it to keep Kody suspicious and emotionally distant, reminding him of the betrayal any time reconciliation seemed possible. Rather than advocating for healing, Robyn allegedly reinforced the fracture. For years, viewers watched a painful pattern play out. Mary showing up to family events only to be ignored, reaching out for conversation and being brushed aside, offering gestures of goodwill that were never returned. And through it all, Robyn would cry with her, express sympathy, and do absolutely nothing to change the reality. The performance was devastatingly effective. Robyn appeared compassionate, while her primary rival for Kody's attention remained permanently sidelined. What makes Mary's experience especially heartbreaking is that she saw everything from the very beginning. She watched the dynamic shift in real time. She felt Kody's affection and resources slowly, but steadily redirected. And still, she stayed, hoping loyalty would be rewarded, believing the family could still be saved. It took decades for her to accept the truth. The game was rigged from the start. Mary's current distance from both Kody and Robyn speaks volumes. This isn't just separation from an ex-husband who emotionally abandoned her. It's separation from a woman she once considered a sister wife and a friend. That double disconnection suggests Mary has finally put the pieces together, finally recognized that her exclusion wasn't accidental. It was engineered. Sources say Mary now believes every tear Robyn shed about wanting the family together was performance, not intention. But as damning as the wives' revelations are, the children's voices may be the most devastating of all. Kody's own children have started naming who they believe drove the family apart, and their words carry a weight that no amount of Robyn's tears can counterbalance. Gwen Brown, Christine's daughter, has been particularly outspoken. Through social media, podcasts, and direct responses to fans, Gwen has made it clear she views Robyn as a central figure in the family's collapse. She has spoken openly about favoritism toward Robyn's children, exclusion of the other mothers, and the systematic dismantling of what the family was supposed to be. Peyton Brown has been just as direct. He's talked about feeling like a second-tier child in his own family, watching his father shower Robyn's children with warmth and attention while barely acknowledging the rest. His observations echo what many of the adult children have hinted at for years. There were two categories of Brown children: those who lived with Robyn, and everyone else. And the everyone else group felt that difference every single day. What makes these statements impossible to dismiss is this: these aren't outsiders speculating. These are the children who lived it, who watched it unfold in real time, who experienced the emotional consequences firsthand. And once the children start telling the same story as the wives, the narrative Robyn has relied on for years completely falls apart. Because silence, tears, and carefully crafted victimhood can't outweigh lived experience. And now, the truth is finally speaking louder than ever. These are not outsiders guessing from clips and headlines. These are children who grew up inside this family, who watched the dynamics unfold in real time, who felt the favoritism and exclusion personally. When they point to Robyn's influence as a driving force behind the family's collapse, they are speaking from lived experience, not speculation. One fan compilation of the adult children's social media activity revealed a striking pattern. The children of Christine, Janelle, and Mary have largely distanced themselves from both Kody and Robyn. Meanwhile, Robyn's children remain publicly silent. That divide alone tells a powerful story. Silence, in this context, is not neutrality, it's insulation. To many of the adult children, Robyn's refusal to engage with Kody's apology efforts only confirms what they've been saying for years. If Robyn truly wanted healing, she would be visible in the process. She would be encouraging reconciliation. She would be reaching out to former sister wives. She would be supporting her own children in reconnecting with their half-siblings. Instead, she has retreated completely, allowing Kody to stumble through his apologies alone, unsupported by the wife who once claimed family unity was her deepest desire. Sources say several of the adult children have privately discussed whether reconciliation is even worth considering at this point, and Robyn's continued influence weighs heavily in that decision. One insider revealed that some of the kids simply cannot imagine rebuilding a relationship with their father while he remains under Robyn's control. The trust is shattered, and her presence makes genuine healing feel impossible. What's happening inside Robyn's home right now paints an even stranger picture. Insiders say Robyn isn't just stepping away from the drama, she's actively reshaping the narrative. In her version of events, she is the true victim of the sister-wives collapse. According to sources, Robyn tells those close to her that she never wanted to be the only wife, that she tried everything to keep the family together, and that the other women abandoned her just as much as they abandoned Kody. It's a bold rewrite of history. Because when you stack that narrative against the facts, The million-dollar house, the financial favoritism, the COVID rules that isolated everyone except her household, the years of exclusion from Kody's time and affection. The victim framing becomes almost unbelievable. To portray Robyn as the one who is wronged requires either profound self-delusion or calculated manipulation. Sources close to the situation suggest it's the latter. One insider put it bluntly, Robyn knows exactly what she's doing. She always has. Her strategy of remaining silent while Kody absorbs all public criticism is tactically brilliant, if morally bankrupt. By saying nothing, she avoids scrutiny, while Kody becomes the lightning rod. Every angry comment, every critical article, every social media takedown targets him. Robyn stays untouched, hovering above the chaos she allegedly helped create. It's a masterclass in deflection. Psychological experts who have analyzed the sister-wives' dynamic point to textbook control tactics, isolating a partner from their support system, reframing control as protection, positioning oneself as the victim to deflect accountability, and using strategic silence to avoid leaving a paper trail. One relationship expert described Robyn's behavior as classic emotional manipulation. Conscious or not, the outcome is the same. One person gains increasing control, while the other loses connection to everyone else in their life. Inside the Flagstaff home, the dynamic has shifted dramatically. Kody Brown, once the patriarch of a sprawling plural family, now lives essentially as a man with one wife and her children. The plural family vision that defined his identity for decades has evaporated. And sources say Robyn doesn't frame this as a loss. She frames it as a win. She finally has what she allegedly wanted all along, Kody's undivided attention. The wives who competed for his time are gone. The children who demanded space and fairness are distant. The structure that required her to share has collapsed. But cracks are beginning to show in Kody's certainty. For the first time, Kody appears to be questioning the isolation he finds himself in. His recent statements suggest a man wrestling with uncomfortable truths. In interviews and public appearances, he has expressed regret about his relationships with his children in ways that feel raw rather than performative. He's acknowledged failures he once denied. He's shown vulnerability that simply didn't exist when he was blaming everyone else. Something has shifted. Sources say Kody has moments of clarity, dark, quiet moments where he recognizes the magnitude of what he's lost. 18 children, many of whom want nothing to do with him. 3 ex-wives who have built full, happy lives without him. A family legacy that has become a cautionary tale rather than an inspiration. In those moments, insiders say he wonders how he ended up alone with one wife in a massive house while everyone else moved on. The answer is standing right next to him. But whether Kody is ready or able to see that truth remains unclear. His apology tour raises questions of its own. Some believe the remorse is genuine. Others suspect financial pressure, knowing a reconciliation storyline would be far more valuable to TLC than the current stalemate. Still, others think loneliness is driving his outreach more than accountability. Whatever the motivation, Robyn appears threatened by all of it. And she has reason to be. If Kody reconciles with Christine, Robyn becomes the woman who couldn't keep him happy, not the woman he chose over everyone else. If he rebuilds relationships with Janelle and Mary, Robyn's status as sole wife shifts from a choice to a default. If the children forgive him, the isolation she cultivated is exposed for what it was. Insiders say Robyn subtly discourages Kody's outreach while never openly opposing it. She doesn't forbid contact. She simply questions whether the kids really want to hear from him, reminds him of past rejections, suggests he'll only be hurt again. It's gentle, concerned, protective in tone, but devastating in effect. His resolve weakens. The attempts low. The isolation holds. Follow the money, and Robyn's strategy makes cold, perfect sense. Robyn's Flagstaff home, worth roughly $1 million, consumes a significant portion of the family's TLC income. Christine sold her home to fund her fresh start. Janelle has openly discussed financial strain. Mary's situation remains far more modest. The infamous Coyote Pass property sits undeveloped while Robyn lives comfortably. This disparity isn't accidental. It's the result of decisions that consistently funneled resources toward Robyn's household while others waited on promises that never came. A financial analyst who reviewed publicly available information described the allocation as deeply inequitable, with one household receiving dramatically more support than the others. Keeping Kody isolated protects Robyn's financial position. As long as she's the sole wife, her claim to income and assets is unchallenged. Any reconciliation could complicate everything, emotionally, legally, and financially. Legal experts have noted that reconciliation could impact future TLC negotiations and asset considerations. From a purely strategic standpoint, Robyn's interests are best served by a perpetual stalemate. Kody stays with her, the others remain gone but unresolved, and the drama continues without closure. And that brings us to the question no one can avoid. Can this family ever actually heal? Robyn's silence is not a moment. It's a pattern. A decade-long series of moves that systematically isolated Kody from everyone except her. The wives have spoken. The children have named names. The financial inequities are visible. The tactics have been analyzed. What remains is a broken family and two possible futures for Kody Brown. In one, he stays exactly where he is, aging in a Flagstaff mansion with one wife, while his children build lives without him and his ex-wives thrive elsewhere. His legacy becomes collapse, not connection. In that future, Robyn wins. But what does that victory really look like? In the other future, Kody breaks free from the isolation and pursues reconciliation, at the risk of his relationship with Robyn. It would require accountability, humility, and a level of self-reflection he has rarely shown. Unlikely? Maybe.
Impossible?
Not entirely. Even then, the damage may be too deep. Christine has moved on. Janelle is independent. Mary has stopped waiting. The children have already grieved the father they never had. So the question remains, and now it's yours. Is Robyn protecting Kody or protecting her position? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because this story isn't over, and the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how long it's been buried.